Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session for a client that in the past had a variety of healthy habits. They love to swim, they love to have very healthy smoothies, love to work out, love to walk, and were quite active and ate very well. But they had lost connection with those old healthy habits, and in fact had created new habits that weren't so healthy. Drinking wine in the evenings, eating chocolate, things that gave a sense of gratification, but would quite often create a chain reaction. The glass of wine might lead to the chocolate might lead to more cravings for sugary food, and it would cause a bit of a ripple effect. And these ripple effects, these chain reactions or domino effects, can work for you, but they can also work against you. So what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is an idea of what it would take not to completely change your life, but how do you tip the first domino that then creates the possibility of a chain reaction. So you don't have to do everything, but just doing one thing that could lead to other good things is really how habits get created anyway. So in this hypnosis session, you're going to hear lots of very powerful suggestions linked to creating healthy habits, and that you don't need to do everything at once. There's this idea of making it very realistic, very sustainable, and that you don't have to do everything. Just get the ball rolling. Just tip that first domino over and then allow the chain reaction to take care of itself. Obviously, some of these suggestions relate to this client. This client did love to swim, did like having smoothies, did like to walk. Your healthy habits might be different. So if you are interested in working with me directly to, let's say, get you back on track with improving the quality of your life, there will be a link in the show notes. But you might find that if you think of this session more as how can you start reintroducing healthy habits and starting these domino effects in your life, whatever they may be, you might find that this is a very helpful session anyway, even if some of the suggestions aren't quite perfect for you. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation, and as you exhale, that's it, relax those eyelids, and as you close your eyes, just feel a connection starting to form from yourself to yourself. As you breathe in and breathe out, get a sense that resources that you need right now are going into your body. And as you exhale, anything unnecessary, like stress, like tension, like worries, are leaving your body in your outward breath. That's it. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to get a growing sense that you're becoming aware of where tension is for you. As you breathe in, perhaps you can notice that there's tension around your forehead, potentially around your eyelids, So as you exhale, just make a positive intention to release that tension. That's it. Continue to breathe in and breathe out. And perhaps become aware of any tension around the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. And I want you to think of something that represents fluidity. And perhaps that's running water. Perhaps that's something that just flows in the wind. Something that moves freely. Perhaps you can imagine a stream, a child's windmill. I want you to get a sense of something that freely moves, and as you focus your attention on that thing, continue to breathe in and breathe out, and feel a connection with that feeling of flow. That's it. On the next inward breath in, take a slightly deeper breath than you normally would. And as you exhale, elongate that outward breath to really feel that you're releasing any feelings of stress and tension. That's it. And perhaps you can imagine something that feels completely effortless. Sometimes it's useful to think of a brightly coloured red helium balloon. Maybe you can imagine a small child, maybe 2 or 3 years old, holding that balloon. And I want you to get a sense of what it would be like if you imagined that your head felt as free as that helium balloon on a string. How easy it is to release that tension around your neck and your shoulders. That it almost feels like your head is just being held up all by itself. And you can let go of all the tension in your body, from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. And as you tap into that feeling of feeling free and relaxed, I want you to think of a time, or perhaps just create a memory, of a moment in childhood where perhaps you were playing with dominoes. Maybe there was one time in your life that you lined up dominoes in a row, and you can recall just flipping that first domino over. And as you flip that domino over, I want you to get a sense that it created a chain reaction. That the first domino knocked the second domino knocked the third domino. And I don't know how long that chain reaction was. Maybe it was 5 dominoes, maybe it was 15. But I want you to recall that it required no effort from you to knock over that 5th domino, or the 3rd, or the 10th. The only effort required was to flip that very first domino. Everything else was just the law of momentum, a ripple effect, a chain reaction. One thing led to another thing, led to another thing, led to another thing. And I wonder what would happen if those chain reactions that happen in your life, that you do one thing, one behavior, maybe it's drinking a glass of wine, maybe it's eating processed foods, something high in sugar. Sometimes by doing that, you're training your body through that hit of dopamine, that sudden sugar rush, to want to do more of those type of things. Therefore, that very first glass of wine after a while becomes the first domino in a sequence. That first refined snack becomes that first domino in a sequence. And I wonder how dramatically your life would change in powerful, positive, profound ways if you started to do those things that are the first domino of a positive chain reaction. the kind of things that you don't have to think about everything. Just the first thing. Perhaps it could be something as simple as walking or driving to a swimming pool. You don't have to think about getting changed, because if you get to the swimming pool, of course you'll get changed into the appropriate swimwear. You don't have to think about getting into the pool, because if you're already wearing swimwear, you're going to go into the pool. And if you get into the pool, perhaps there would be a desire to do a certain number of lengths before you leave the pool. And all these things will naturally happen all by themselves. But all you had to do was to drive to the pool with whatever clothing was necessary. And that's that first domino of that chain reaction. And maybe there's other powerful, positive chain reactions, having a delicious smoothie first thing in the morning. I want you to imagine that you're sitting in front of a cinema screen and you're seeing yourself as a character on that cinema screen. And I want you to imagine you're seeing a life where you're creating healthy habits. Not standalone healthy habits, but the kind of healthy habits that create a chain reaction, that build momentum, that are just the start of a sequence. I'll start to give you certain suggestions, and I want you to imagine what that could be like in your life, seeing yourself do some things that could lead to a ripple effect, a domino effect. As you look into that cinema screen, I want you to imagine that you have the power to create healthy habits that serve your body and mind, and that you enjoy taking care of yourself through healthy habits like swimming and eating well and walking. As you look at yourself, see that you feel energized and motivated to work out regularly, and notice that your body's starting to change and you're seeing the benefits of your efforts. Perhaps you can imagine yourself maybe in a kitchen or a place that has a blender, and I want you to imagine seeing yourself finding joy and enthusiasm in preparing and drinking healthy smoothies that not only taste good but really nourish your body. See yourself prioritizing your physical health and well-being as a key aspect of your life. And just allow yourself to let go of any negative beliefs or self-talk that may have held you back in the past. That will I or won't I. Allow that voice to just turn the volume all the way down. And instead, create an empowered voice, an encouraging voice that lets you know that you don't have to do everything, just one thing that gets the ball rolling, and allow your mind and body to take care of the rest. Because as you start that first domino, you can notice that it builds consistency in your healthy habits, building momentum towards your goals. And sometimes people will do something like a diet or working out reluctantly, just as a means to an end. But on this giant cinema screen in front of you, I want you to see yourself actually finding pleasure in the process of building these healthy habits, not just the end result. As time goes on, you'll be able to listen to your body's needs and make adjustments as necessary to maintain your healthy habits. Sometimes what you think is good for you maybe isn't what your body needs. Sometimes your body will need a glass of water rather than a smoothie, or a walk instead of a swim, or a stretch instead of a workout. I want you to see yourself in the future finding inspiration and support from like-minded individuals who share your passion for healthy living. But it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can see yourself on a stressful, busy week just doing one thing that's healthy. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to allow the possibility of these chain reactions, these domino effects, to create positive, profound impacts in your life. And I want you to release any shame or guilt related to any past unhealthy habits. You can learn from them, and therefore shame and guilt isn't needed. The key from the past is to influence your present and your future. And part of building momentum is celebrating even the very smallest of victories. If you haven't been swimming for a while, then it's a victory just to go to the pool once. If you haven't made a smoothie in several weeks, making a smoothie, perhaps tomorrow or the day after, is a victory. And every time you celebrate a small victory, you're helping to build momentum, allowing that to be the source of a dopamine hit rather than these unhealthy habits of the past. See yourself embracing a positive and optimistic outlook towards your health goals and your future life. And imagine that maybe a year or two has gone by and you're seeing yourself 2 years in the future. 2 years of not living a perfect life, but just encouraging these domino effects, these chain reactions where one thing leads to another that leads to another. These micro adjustments in your life that create a desire to do them more and more often. That just one thing can set up your week or set up your day, giving you a healthy identity, feeling that you want to be healthy, not because you have to, but because it makes you feel good. I want you to see yourself 2 years from now still prioritizing self-care as an important part of your routine and allowing you to recharge and rejuvenate. Working out every now and then is good. Working out twice a day may be counterproductive, so I want you to see yourself balanced. See yourself living the life that you choose. See yourself with a relationship with alcohol that feels useful and balanced for you. And for some people, that balance is no alcohol whatsoever, and that still facilitates balance. For other people, it might be creating boundaries of what the context is, or what the time of day is, or even the time of week. But I want you to see yourself living in a way that feels like it's aligned with you, that gives you a balance, but doesn't create these negative chain reactions. You can focus on the benefits of healthy habits and see yourself in this future version of you with increased energy, a happier mood. You just look healthier and happier and more vibrant. But I also want you to see yourself being creative. Routines are great, but sometimes you need to mix things up. So see yourself making different flavors of smoothies, maybe swimming in different pools, maybe see yourself swimming on holiday destinations, sometimes an indoor pool, sometimes an outdoor pool. Maybe see yourself doing different strokes and different ways of swimming. I want you to notice that the more variety, the more enthusiasm you have to continue doing these things, making it easier to stick to these healthy routines. As you see yourself, perhaps 5 years in the future, notice what 5 years of progress in these healthy habits has done to your body, what it's done to your aging, what it's done to your energy levels, what it's done to your mood and your optimism. I want you to trust in your ability to, at any point in time, create a new healthy habit or resurrect an old healthy habit. letting go of any external pressure or expectations and just focus on what feels good for your body and your mind. And you approach your healthy habits with curiosity and openness, discovering what works best for you. But most of all, see yourself enjoying the process, knowing that you can create a sustainable and enjoyable healthy lifestyle that isn't meant for anyone else but you. And most of all, see that it improves the quality of your life. There's no point being healthy if it makes your life worse. See the future version of you with an improved life because of these healthy habits. And when you can see yourself in the future, not living a perfect life, but just having a variety of healthy habits that take your life in a positive direction, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine now stepping into that screen, stepping into that future version of you, feeling what it would feel like perhaps to have lived 5 years with regular healthy habits, and realizing that you can feel good and you didn't need to be perfect. It didn't mean no snacks ever. It didn't mean that you had to be perfect. It just meant that every now and then you would just knock over that first domino, creating a chain reaction where you wanted to be healthier because you realized it made you feel so good. I want you to imagine jumping back out of the screen, but taking all of those resources, ways of thinking with you, but also activating a desire to resurrect some of the things that you know in your life have worked in the past, and setting an intention to do maybe just one of those things, because you know that if you do one of those things and you realize that makes you feel good, that will create an insatiable desire to do one other thing that you've done in the past that made you feel good, and that in turn will make you want to do one extra thing that will make you feel good, until you realize that doing the first thing is itself the first domino of a new chain reaction. So maybe that is going for a swim, going for a walk, making a smoothie, going for a nice workout in the gym, just one thing that gets that ball rolling, making you feel good, creating a new domino effect in your life. Imagine that the cinema screen just disappears, but you're still connected with that resourceful feeling, a desire to do one thing that takes your life in a positive direction. And then feel like you can return to the present in this moment with those resources as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that you're fully present in the moment right now, all parts in the present, as I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.